Alright guys, today we have yet another review. Yesterday was Wolverine, day before yesterday was Deadpool, today is Cyclops from Mafex. Tomorrow, if I have time, it'll be Storm. So, before I get to my thoughts on this figure, let me ask you guys if you can please subscribe, because making these videos, it does take quite a bit of effort. I should be editing a wedding right now that I photographed a couple weeks ago, but instead I did this because I really love doing this. If you're watching this, you and I probably have so many things in common. So let me tell you, I like anything comic book related. I like Cyclops, I like X-Men, I like Wolverine, I like the Avengers, I like DC, I like Image Comics. I mean, I like them all. Admittedly though, I don't read them anymore. It's just I'm way too busy. I mean, adult stuff, you know, it gets in the way. But so I really love this figure. But there are some things I just don't understand. And maybe you guys can help me understand, because I think no matter what I say, somebody's going to say something in the comic books said it was supposed to be this way, and that's why it's like that, which I respect. But I don't know. Some things I just don't get. I don't understand. He's 6.3 inches tall. I will say this, I didn't have as much fun posing this character as I did with Wolverine or Deadpool. Something about his center of balance, it was weird. And it's not just me, because my buddy came over and he tried to pose him too, and he also had a difficult time posing him. Maybe he'll comment and tell you guys what I'm talking about. But yeah, it wasn't that easy. Let's start with his head sculpts though. He's got 3 of them. This is the first one. He's got this little smirk going on. I like the paint. Sure, it's not like super detailed. There's not like this huge, I don't know, it's just nice. I used that word a lot yesterday, but it's really nicely painted. It's not chalky, it's not too overly bright like the rest of his costume is. The skin looks like skin, which is great. From what I do remember back in the days reading comics, the smirk that he's got here, it does remind me of Cyclops, so I think that's pretty good. The second head sculpt also kind of reminds me of Cyclops too, actually, because he's always been the more serious one, right? And this, I don't know, he almost looks a little pained here, but I don't really love this head sculpt. But I want you to take note of his visor. There's a little opening there. That's going to be important for his accessories. But again, the paint looks good. The hair has a little bit of darker paint in there. I think that looks pretty good too. The visor itself has got this shimmery gold. I like that. I'm trying to show you like really close-ups of everything so you can see for yourself just how cool this looks. This one, I don't know if I love. I mean, I'm glad that it's included. Don't get me wrong. The more, the better. I don't know. Whenever I think of him with his visors, I always thought of him with like street clothes. You know what would have been cool if they gave him like a jacket or something, you know, like a soft good jacket. But, you know, they don't do soft goods, right? Sometimes they do like capes and stuff, but a jacket would have been cool just to throw on there with his shades. I think that would have looked really cool. The shades themselves, though, they do remind me of the comic books, which is awesome. Here are his 3 head sculpts. Like I said, the middle one there, it's got this little opening there for the accessories that we're gonna see a little bit later on. He's got the same hairstyle for all 3, which is cool. It's consistent. The paint on everything here, to me, looks pretty good. What do you think? I always thought that reviewing the Mafex would take quite a bit of time, and not that this is quick or anything, but it actually didn't take that much time, because the truth is it doesn't really come with much. And that's the tough part about this figure. It's that it's $95, but you know, it doesn't come with a lot. So I don't know, there's a little bit of mispaints here and there too, which I'll get to. This accessory is pretty cool if you want to pose them, and I think it's the one I'm gonna pose him with, because like I said earlier, sometimes he's not that easy to stand, and these effects here, the blast effects, they put a lot of weight in front, and I feel like he can't really sustain this, not for a long time. If you're gonna display him on your shelf, it's gonna start to droop down, especially this blast effect, because it's wider, it's heavier. As I was recording, he fell over. I didn't capture that because I had just stopped recording, but I could only imagine if I put him up on the mantle or the shelf or something, it's gonna fall over. But it looks cool. Maybe he wouldn't fall over like that. He's like on his knees. But this is a cool effect. I like the translucent. I like how it goes from whiter to red. Maybe like it means like it's a little bit hotter when it first comes out or something. I like it. I like everything about this, the way it fits. It fits snug, except that it does tend to weigh him down, and that is going to be an issue later. So I think I'm gonna pose him with that first accessory on the shelf. This is accessory number 2. I might actually use this too because this one isn't as heavy, although it does put a little bit of weight in front of him. So over time, maybe it'll droop down. It goes back to the same problem I was telling you about earlier, which is he's really difficult to stand. I don't know why. I've never had this problem with any other Mafex. And like I said, it wasn't just me. It was me and my buddy that tried. And yeah, Wolverine was like a joy to pose, and him not so much. So the difficult part about these figures is showing you the articulation, because I refuse to put a camera in front of me and have my hands be all over it and show you, although you can see my thumb here. I don't want to be that reviewer that has hands on the figure and just moves, and I don't want you to see my hairy arms. I just don't like that. So look, I'm showing you this way. His arms, they can go up that high. Basically, the best parts about these figures is that they can articulate so freaking well, man. I mean, you can do so much with them, and that's where the money goes, really, because it doesn't go into the accessories or the detail. It just doesn't. It goes into the articulation. You want to articulate him like this. You want to move him. You want a figure that's super articulated. Well, you get a Mafex or a Figuarts, and that's what you're paying for. Although I do wish they gave you more accessories. I mean, throw some stuff in there. Although, what can they give Cyclops, right? I don't know. A jacket? That would have been nice. His arms, they go outwards that much. He has a knee, elbow articulation. It's pretty good. Your imagination is your only limit, I think, because he can do stuff that regular people shouldn't be able to do. And it's just your imagination at this point, like that's kind of weird. I don't think anybody does that, but you can do it with Cyclops. Waist articulation, that's not realistic, but hey, Cyclops can do that too. So again, it's just your imagination that's holding you back, and maybe gravity. So you'll need like wires and such. I'm a photographer, so why I buy these toys again is for toy photography. So I can already picture these really cool scenarios of Cyclops fighting Wolverine or somebody else altogether. But you'll need wires for the really dynamic poses. Wires that you can get at Home Depot. If you guys want a tutorial on how I do it, that would be cool. I can show you. He's not really good at the splits. He hasn't been stretching much, I think, but that's all you can get from him, and that's not great, but I mean, it's not the worst. He can kick front outwards that much, which isn't bad, and back that much, which again isn't bad. He's got a knee bend that's pretty good, which you'll see in a sec, and he's got a really good toe articulation, I think. And that little bit of toe articulation, it just kind of adds something to the pictures that I'll eventually take with him. The truth is, I have so many figures and I have so many weddings to edit that I haven't had time to take photos of my toys, man, and I really want to. This Saturday, I don't have a wedding. I'm gonna take some photos. I already said it. So he comes with a few hands, the standard punching hands that every figure has to have. They're here. So this is the part where I want somebody to help me out here. Why is there a little bit of blue on his hands? And not just his hands, other places where it's white. Because I thought it was just me. So he's also got these hands that are 2-finger pointing hands. Like when he means business, he's pointing at you. I guess that's good. He does that in the comics, right? I don't know. Somebody help me out. Look carefully though. You can still see a little bit of blue shading there. It's very subtle, but it's there. And in some other places, it's not that subtle. Why is that there? Somebody comment. Let me know, please. And so I guess somebody decided that he should have one finger pointing hands, which is what you get here, which also has a little bit of blue shading at the palms. This one has it less so, but it's still there. But yeah, one finger pointing hands. There you go. That's what you always wanted, right? I'm sure you can use it for something in the pictures or on your shelf maybe. I know I can think of something right now which is pretty cool. So he's got these hands and I'm calling them his savior hands. Doesn't he look like he's there, like I'm your savior? But look, these you can definitely tell at the palm of the hands there is a blue blob of paint, which I've seen on other copies of this figure. So maybe somebody out there, if you have a copy of this, can you show me your hands, your figure's hands? Or can you at least let me know, did I get a bad copy? Have I seen 3 bad copies? Or is this the way it's supposed to be? I'm really curious now. Either way, I can live with this. I like it just because of the posability of the character. But like I said, he is a little bit harder to stand. And it's not just me. Details wise, well, he's got muscles, you know, and the paint is nice. It's a little glossy for my taste, but you can see that the paint isn't quite that exact. You see it right there. Let me point to it. You can see a little bit of blue shading there on his arm. I know you can see it. I'm showing it to you really close up. It's there. It's just weird. I don't know. That distracts me from the joy I get from this figure. Not enough to say I regret buying him because I got a good deal on him from Japan, which I've told you guys about. If you order multiple shipments, you can get it in Japan cheaper. But again, right here, even more so on the upper right of his back, or if you're looking at the upper right hand corner, it's blue. Why is that blue? Is it just mine? Now I really want to know. But yeah, if you get it from Japan, he'll be a lot cheaper than if you were to buy him here, even with the higher shipping costs. Although, I gotta tell you, for that, you have to order at least 3 or 4 figures, and you have to order figures that are coming out roughly around the same times to make it worth it. Otherwise, it gets complicated. You'll have to wait for your figures all to be there before it gets shipped because they can't just ship one at a time from Japan. It's just way too expensive. But you can see his muscles here. I like it. I think that if he's wearing a suit, though, there would be some wrinkles in the suit. And that's why I think Mezco blows Mafex out of the water. I mean, seriously, as far as realism goes, I can't get enough Mezco. Mafex is cool for the posability. Mafex is better at the details. And it's got posability. Not as much as this, but enough. So here we have him next to a NECA Brooklyn, a Super 7 Cobra Commander, and a Mafex Wolverine. He doesn't scale well to anything except the other Mafex. So if you're going to pose a Mafex character with another character, it's probably not going to work out. But if you pose him against a Figuarts or another Mafex, then maybe that'll work out. Earlier I said he was 95, and I was wrong, man. He is more than that. He is 105. I honestly don't think he's worth it. I think he's worth it if you're the kind of person that's just gonna buy everything like me. But he's not if you're being choosy with your figures, man. $105 is a lot for a figure that doesn't have a lot to offer except the posability. I just can't say this is worth it. I cannot say this is worth it for $105. For $73 though, I could say yes, let's get this, which is what I paid actually, plus $7 in shipping. $7 because I ordered this and like a bunch of other figures and it came from Japan. I could do this. I cannot say it's worth 105, man. I just can't. 80 is already pushing it. 105, I can't. I could have just bought them at Toys in the Box though, which is like my go-to place. I think rather than just doing these really complicated Japanese orders because you have to order things at the same time so that they get there at the same it's complicated, man. But $90 at Toys in the Box, and it's like a 30-minute drive for me to get there. I can do this, and they never disappoint with their prices. Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, so expensive. Entertainment Earth is more of a joke. Look, they don't even have it. Every single review that I've done here, with the exception of like 1 or 2, they either don't have it or it's more expensive. But more often than not, they don't have it. That's just nuts. How can they endorse this place? What do they have? I don't know. Look, these videos, they take me a while. Like I said, I would really appreciate it if you guys subscribe, man. It would mean everything to me. So thank you so much for watching. See you later.